Before you were ever born, before your first breath, before your parents even crossed paths, God made a decision about you that secured your victory for all eternity. Not because of anything you would accomplish, not because of any prayer you would pray, but because you were chosen before the very foundation of the world. And the enemy has known this from the beginning. He has observed you. He has targeted you. He has used every weapon available to try to destroy what was settled in eternity. But there is one thing he cannot alter, one truth that terrifies him more than anything else. Your victory was never uncertain. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications, because what I am about to uncover about the precise moment your destiny was sealed in the eternal realm is being deliberately suppressed by forces that benefit from you remaining unaware of who you truly are and the power you carry. Write 444 in the comments if you have recently felt something shifting inside you, something different you cannot explain. A sense that you are set apart. A realization that what has always been there is now impossible to ignore. Stay with me until the end, because I am going to show you why you were chosen before you existed, what it truly means that your victory was written in eternity before time began, and how this explains every strange obstacle you have encountered and why the attacks against your life have been so intense. But before I reveal the full truth about your pre-birth election, you need to understand how divine selection operates beyond time, because once you grasp this, it will change everything you thought you knew about your existence. Let me explain what eternal election really is. I am not speaking in metaphors or poetic religious language meant to make people feel special. I am describing an actual mechanism that functions outside of linear time, documented in ancient texts for thousands of years, that determines the destiny of souls before they enter physical reality. And this mechanism explains why your life has unfolded the way it has. Here is what no one clearly told you about the spiritual hierarchy. God exists outside of time. Not symbolically, literally. He exists in a dimension where past, present, and future are visible all at once. From that vantage point, he saw your entire life before you lived a single second. He saw every choice you would make, every battle you would face, every doubt, every triumph. And from that complete perspective, he made a decision, not based on your performance, but based on what he intended to accomplish through you. Think about how this works. When you face a decision right now, God already saw it from his eternal perspective thousands of years ago. When you encounter an obstacle tomorrow, he already witnessed your response before the universe was spoken into existence. When you celebrate a victory next week, he already rejoiced over it in eternity before your birth. This is not fatalism. Your free will remains intact. You make real decisions. You exercise genuine agency, but those choices occur within a framework established before time began. It is like an author writing a story. The characters make authentic decisions within the narrative, yet the author already knows the ending. God stands outside the story. You live inside it. The conclusion was written before the first page ever turned. This is why the enemy's attacks are ultimately pointless. He operates within time. He can see your past. He observes your present. He predicts your future based on patterns. But he cannot access what God decreed about you in eternity. He cannot enter the realm where your victory was sealed. He cannot revise decisions made beyond his dimension of authority. Every force that has opposed you has been functioning with incomplete information. They see your struggles in time, but not your triumph in eternity. They notice your weakness in the moment, but not your strength in the eternal decree. They focus on temporary setbacks, but cannot see the guaranteed outcome. That gap in knowledge ensures their defeat. They are fighting a battle whose conclusion has already been determined in a realm they cannot access. This is not fantasy. It is recorded in Scripture for over 2,000 years. In the book of Jeremiah it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Notice the sequence: before formation, before birth, before physical existence, knowledge already existed, and separation had already occurred. Ephesians makes it even clearer: you were chosen before the foundation of the world. Before galaxies formed, before stars ignited, before planets took shape, before life began on Earth, before human history unfolded, in that timeless state before creation, your name was already written. Your purpose already assigned, your victory already secured, and this is what separates eternal election from ordinary ideas of destiny. It was not a prediction. It was a decision. And when something is decided outside of time, nothing within time can undo it. Temporal attacks cannot cancel eternal decrees. Let me be clear about what this means for every force that has come against you. They know you were chosen. They know your victory was settled in eternity. They know that no matter how aggressively they attack, the final outcome is already written beyond their reach. And that awareness fuels their fury. That is why your life has felt unusually difficult. Why obstacles appeared at critical moments. Why betrayals emerged from unexpected places. Why doors closed just when breakthrough seemed near. It was not random. It was strategic resistance from forces that recognize who you are, and fear who you will become when you fully awaken. But here is their fatal flaw. They can delay you. They can make you question yourself. They can orchestrate circumstances meant to exhaust you. But they cannot rewrite what was established before time began. Because what was sealed in eternity remains sealed regardless of what happens in temporary existence. Your victory does not depend on flawless performance. It is not based on avoiding mistakes. It is not earned through perfect effort. It exists because God declared it in eternity, and nothing in creation can overturn what He decreed outside of time. Do you remember that moment when you almost gave up? Maybe it was late at night, staring at the ceiling, feeling a kind of exhaustion deeper than physical tiredness. The kind that settles into your bones. Maybe it was sitting alone in your car, gripping the steering wheel, asking silent questions while the world carried on around you. Maybe it was in the shower, where the sound of water masked your tears. Maybe it was at 3 a.m., at your kitchen table, coffee long gone cold, your mind circling problems without solutions. You remember the moment when faith felt distant, when prayers seemed unanswered, when promises felt hollow, when your life looked like wreckage, relationships fractured, opportunities lost, dreams shattered. And yet, something rose inside you. Not simple hope, not manufactured determination, something deeper, a knowing that defied your circumstances. A refusal to surrender that did not originate from your personality but from something written into you before birth. You did not choose that defiance. It manifested through you. Something decided you would continue, even when you consciously wanted to quit. That was your eternal election expressing itself in a moment of crisis. Most people break under that level of pressure. Many quit just before breakthrough, on the darkest part of the night before dawn, in the 9th round of a 10-round fight, 3 feet from gold after digging for miles. But you did not. Not because the path was clear. Not because circumstances improved. Not because you suddenly felt strong. You continued because something older than your present existence would not allow you to stop. Your spirit was responding to what had been decided before your first breath. That was your election manifesting in real time. Proof that what was sealed in eternity cannot be broken by what happens in time. While you thought you were alone in that darkness, spiritual realms were watching. Not in surprise. God already knew the outcome, but in confirmation. What had been decreed about you was tested and proven unbreakable. For centuries, mystics have described this as the dark night of the soul. Not punishment, not abandonment, a stripping away of everything non-essential. Refinement reserved for what is valuable. Worthless things are discarded. Valuable things are purified. The severity of your testing reveals the magnitude of your calling. Ordinary destinies do not require extraordinary preparation. And when you survived what should have destroyed you, something shifted. Opposition changed from attempts at destruction to attempts at delay. That shift means they conceded the war. Now they are only trying to slow what cannot ultimately be stopped. You carry a mark, a spiritual signature placed on you before birth. It is recognizable beyond the physical realm. That is why some people are drawn to you instantly, and others react negatively without reason. They are responding to what you represent. Once you understand this, you stop taking rejection personally. You stop trying to fit into spaces you were meant to transform. You accept that feeling different was never a flaw, it was evidence of design. And now, a new season is beginning. Not someday. Now. Things long blocked are about to move. Doors are beginning to open. Connections are being aligned. Resources are being released. This does not mean challenges disappear, it means they change. The previous season was about survival. This one is about expansion. Growth will stretch you. Responsibility will increase. But you are being shaped into the person capable of carrying your full calling. Prepare to expand. Prepare to discover strength you did not know you possessed. Prepare to become unrecognizable compared to who you once were. Within the next 48 to 72 hours, you will notice signs. Unexpected contact from significant people, unusual favor where you expected resistance, sudden clarity of ideas, a deep sense of anticipation, decreased intensity of opposition, surprising opportunities, and moments of peace that defy logic. These are confirmations. You existed as spirit before entering this world. You agreed to a mission knowing it would be difficult. You understood the cost, but also the impact. God sealed that agreement with His authority, assigning protection and establishing boundaries around your life. Your struggles were preparation. Your survival was protection. Your suffering was purposeful. The preparation phase is ending. Activation is beginning. The world is about to witness what has been developed in secret. And when it unfolds, it will not only transform your life, it will create pathways for others. You did not encounter this message by accident. You were guided here. The fact that you stayed until now means something and you recognized its importance. Now you have a choice. You can return to life unchanged, or you can step fully into the identity that has always been yours. God chose you before you were born. Now it is time for you to activate what He placed within you. Write 444 in the comments to declare that you understand your victory was settled before your first breath. Subscribe and turn on notifications to continue receiving revelations about your identity and what is unfolding in your life. Share this with someone who needs to remember their election was never accidental and their victory was never uncertain. And before you go, click the video on your screen to discover how this new season will manifest and how to position yourself for everything that is already moving toward you. Together, we rise stronger. Before we close, there is something I did not tell you. There is a law operating in spiritual dimensions that most people never learn about. A law that explains why some individuals seem to move through years of progress in a matter of months. A law that activates only after survival has been proven. And you are standing at the threshold of it right now. It is called acceleration through alignment. Here is how it works. When a chosen soul survives the dark night, when destruction fails and delay tactics lose effectiveness, there comes a moment in spiritual realms where heaven shifts from defense mode to advancement mode. For years, much of what surrounded you was protection. Boundaries, limitations, closed doors that did not make sense at the time, delays that frustrated you, redirections that felt like rejection. But protection often looks like restriction when you do not understand what it is preserving. Now that your endurance has been established, acceleration begins. And acceleration does not look like chaos. It looks like alignment. Suddenly, the right conversations happen at the right time. The right information finds you without effort. The right opportunities appear without you chasing them. The right clarity replaces years of confusion. This is not coincidence. It is convergence. For a long time, pieces of your life were developing separately: skills, wisdom, resilience, spiritual depth, discernment. They were being built in isolation. Now they begin to merge. And when preparation converges with timing, acceleration becomes inevitable. Here is what most people misunderstand about this phase. Acceleration is not about doing more. It is about resisting less. In the previous season, you fought constantly. You pushed. You struggled. You forced movement. In this next season, movement will feel different. It will feel guided. Doors will open with less strain. Progress will require obedience more than effort. Discernment more than force. Because when something is eternally authorized, it does not require human striving to sustain it. Let me tell you what will try to sabotage this acceleration. Old mental patterns. The survival mindset that kept you alive in the last season will try to convince you that every opportunity must be fought for, every blessing must be doubted, every open door must contain a hidden trap. But survival mode is not expansion mode. If you stay in survival thinking while heaven has shifted you into advancement, you will delay yourself unnecessarily. This is why awareness matters. The moment you recognize that the season has changed, your posture changes. You stop bracing for impact. You stop expecting betrayal in every interaction. You stop assuming loss before gain arrives. You begin receiving, and reception is a higher level of faith than endurance. Endurance says, I will survive this. Reception says, I am ready for what is coming. There is another dimension to this acceleration that very few understand. When a chosen one enters alignment, it does not only affect their personal life. It disrupts generational patterns. Cycles that operated in your family line, cycles of limitation, lack, emotional suppression, instability, fear, begin to lose authority. Not because you fought them directly, but because elevation changes perspective. When you rise, you see what previous generations could not see. You choose differently. You respond differently. You build differently. And that shift rewrites history forward. You are not only breaking through for yourself. You are creating a new baseline for everyone connected to you. That is why the resistance against you was intense. Because acceleration at your level does not create small change. It creates ripple effects. Now here is something even deeper. There is a moment in every chosen life when identity locks in permanently. Up until now, you may have oscillated between confidence and doubt. Between clarity and confusion. Between boldness and hesitation. But in this new phase, something stabilizes. You stop asking, am I really called? You stop wondering, is this really for me? You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Because confirmation replaces insecurity. And when identity stabilizes, authority increases. People will begin responding to you differently. Not because you demanded respect, but because alignment carries weight. Your words will carry more influence. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your decisions will create momentum faster than before. This is not ego. This is assignment. But with acceleration comes responsibility. You must guard your focus more carefully than ever. In the next season, distractions will not look like problems. They will look like opportunities that are slightly misaligned. Good things that are not your things. Invitations that are impressive but not assigned. Discernment will be the difference between rapid advancement and unnecessary detours. Remember this. Not every open door is yours. But every door that is yours will open with peace. Peace will be your compass. If it feels forced, pause. If it feels frantic, reconsider. If it feels aligned and steady, even if it stretches you, move. There is also a financial dimension to this acceleration. Provision follows purpose. For a long time, resources may have felt tight, delayed, just enough to survive. But when mission clarity increases, provision begins matching assignment scale. Not always instantly, but steadily. Because heaven funds what heaven sends. Do not shrink your vision based on previous limitations. Those limitations were seasonal, not permanent. Another sign of acceleration will be restoration. Things you thought were permanently lost will return in upgraded form. Not always the exact same people. Not always the exact same opportunities. But the essence, what was meant for you, will circle back refined. Because nothing aligned with your eternal decree can be permanently stolen. It can only be temporarily diverted. And temporary diversions do not cancel permanent design. There is something happening even now as you hear this. Your awareness is expanding. Some part of you is recognizing this as confirmation, not motivation. Motivation fades. Confirmation anchors. You are not being hyped. You are being reminded. And reminders activate memory. Deep within you is a memory older than this lifetime. A knowing that you agreed to something significant. A sense that you are here for more than routine existence. That memory is surfacing now because timing has matured. You are no longer in preparation alone. You are stepping into demonstration. And demonstration is public. Up until now, much of your growth was hidden. Internal. Unseen. But what has been built in private will soon become visible. Do not be startled when recognition comes. Do not downplay your capacity. Do not apologize for expansion. Chosen ones who apologize for their light delay the impact they were sent to create. Stand fully in it, and understand this clearly. Acceleration does not remove humility. It deepens it, because when you see how orchestrated your journey has been, pride becomes impossible. Gratitude replaces ego. Stewardship replaces insecurity. Clarity replaces striving. You are not ahead by accident. You are not surviving by coincidence. You are not shifting seasons randomly. This was scheduled, before your birth, before your struggle, before your doubt. And now the calendar of eternity is intersecting with your present reality. The only question left is how quickly you will align with what is already moving toward you. If this bonus part resonates deeply, write "activation" in the comments. Not for me, for you. As a declaration that you are ready for acceleration, ready for alignment, ready for the next phase that has already been authorized over your life. Your survival was proof. Your refinement was preparation. Your endurance was qualification. Now comes movement. And nothing that was decided in eternity can be stopped in time.